Hey educators, it's Miss Bone here. And today, if you're watching this video, you might have noticed that some of your students are having some issues, maybe understanding word problems, especially in third grade with those multi-step word problems coming forward. We can see that sometimes kids are just, I know my students oftentimes just choose any old operation, add some numbers together. They don't really spend much time with the problem, sort of trying to figure it out. So if you've used cubes with your kids, then I'm late to the game for you. But if you haven't, I'm going to just guide you through how to use cubes with your students. It's not a problem-solving strategy by any means. They're not going to all of a sudden be able to solve problems perfectly, but it is a really great process to help them hold themselves accountable for taking some time with the problem and really working through trying to understand it before they jump right into those operations. Okay, so I have a little on the screen, I have a graphic organizer of cubes that I love to share with my students. You can easily put this on, I got it off Teachers Pay Teachers, there you go. And you can easily put this right on a Jamboard and share it with your students, and you could see what they're thinking right then and there. So let's go through the steps of this sort of problem-solving process. C is for circle, U is for underline, B is for box, E is for evaluate, and S is for solve. I like to teach my kids, I know this seems kind of foreign because the C is the first word, but I actually just teach my kids to underline the question first. So that's what the U is. You're underlining the question. So you can really take a moment to ask yourself, what do I even need to find? So I would go over here and I would have my kids have to rewrite the question in their own words. Because, you know, students will just, I'm going to find how many more boxes of tiles does Leanne need to buy? And they just read it back to you. So you really have to emphasize that you want your kids to say it in their own words. And a sentence starter you can use is like, I need to find. And even if you want to add the amount, I need to find the amount. And then they can sort of fill in that blank to show you that they understand what they're even needing to find. So if, for example, if we looked at this, how many more boxes of tiles does Leanne need to buy? I need to find the amount of boxes she still needs. I know my typing is very big right now, but you get the gist, right? You really want to hold your students accountable for putting the question in their own words, okay? After I have them underline and show me that they even understand what they need to find, they go back to the problem and they start circling the numbers and the units that they need to use. So if I need to find out the amount of boxes she still needs to buy, I'm going to need to know that she needs 120 tiles. Make sure your students are not just circling 120, because they will. They will just circle 120, no unit, they won't know. And that's so important in choosing an operation, because then you can kind of tell if you're adding or multiplying, because you know, you can't add boxes to tiles. So you got to make sure you are having them circle not just the number, but also the unit. And it says tiles are sold in boxes of 8. Okay. So then you're going to come over here and just have your kids jot down that she has or needs. I always have them jot down not just 120 tiles, but what they understand about 120 tiles. Yeah, see, annotating remotely, it's not fun. I'm actually so surprised my students do such a good job and I can read their writing so nicely, because mine, not so much, but you get the gist. You would come over here and you would have them just put the important information in. Again, A number is not good enough. Make sure you have them put what they understand about the number in that C part, okay? Then the next thing we do is we box keywords. Now you're going to need to make sure you have a nice pop-in keyword chart in your classroom so that those keywords, they can sort of always refer to them until they get the gist of, am I finding a difference? Am I finding a total here, a product? What am I doing here? So you would have your kids come over and box how many more is a keyword that might help them. You know, still need to buy, maybe. Use a letter. This is kind of a key thing. Use a letter. You want to just have them get in there and box some things that are like helping them understand what they even need to do. And then, of course, you would have them come over here to the B and you would have them jot down those keywords that might help them. Next is evaluate. Now, evaluate is where we start thinking and working through how we're going to solve the problem. In today's lesson, we're using a tape diagram. It's multi-step, so you got a lot in there. Sometimes I'll do a sequence map. I'll have my kids do a little sequence map right inside the E to really take that time to think about their steps, especially once we've started to identify when there's a multi-step versus a single step problem. So you really want them to take time with that E. And I actually tell my students, you can't even get to S until you have E, because the S is solving and making sure your answer makes sense. And honestly, when I first roll out cubes, I'm not going to lie, I don't even let them get to S. I just want them going through that process of really understanding a word problem before jumping in there and choosing the wrong operation, doing the wrong thing with the numbers, missing an important piece of information. There's all sorts of misconceptions that our students have. So just a little tip, if you want to leave the S off towards the end or at the beginning when you roll it out, just to get them used to the process and taking time to annotate and understand those problems. Good luck, teachers. Happy teaching.